Welcome to Keeping Tabs. I'm Tabitha Croc, and every Monday, I talk to someone here in North Idaho with the goal to connect more people in the Coeur d'Alene area. And then every Friday, I talk to someone outside the community to bring in a new perspective and to learn a little bit about yourself. Tabs. I got Sammy, a good friend of mine, with me, and I am so pumped that she's kind of introducing my podcast back. We're going to talk about what she does, what she's doing. She is in real estate. Along with that, she is a instructor. I guess you have, what would you say, like triple threat? You got all the talents. She can dance, she can teach.
I would call it more like confused and just has too many jobs. Can't pinpoint one or two. So let's have like 5 or 6 maybe.
I love it. So I guess tell us a little bit about you and what you're up to right now.
Hi, I'm Sammy. I am longtime local of Coeur d'Alene. I've lived here since 96. So born in Idaho, but moved up here when I was like 4. So I can't say born and raised, unfortunately. It's like a badge of honor I can't wear that makes my heart sad, but longtime local.
So it's like,
yes, I'm so close. Yeah. So I lived here basically my whole life. Did a little hiatus in Colorado for a couple of years, out of college. But I've always kind of just found myself back in Coeur d'Alene. I love it here. My family's here. My friends are here. I've got, like you said, a lot of jobs that I love that are here. So yeah, always just kind of like find myself back here. And as you said, I'm new to the real estate game within the last year. And before that, I was just kind of full-time in the group fitness scene, I guess you could say. I teach over at Cycle Bar and Pure Bar. Shout out Exponential Fitness, Jamie and Casey and Nicole. We love you guys. But yeah, I love it. I think group fitness was just kind of drawn to me. I used to be a competitive dancer. I did ballet for like 18 years. And then that just kind of like transitioned my like love of fitness and movement and activity and helping people, I guess, kind of like merge into my group fitness career. So I was doing that for a hot minute. But before that, service industry forever. 15 years.
That's true. Yeah. I forgot about that.
I know. I'm like, again, all the jobs. So yeah, I was in the service industry since I was like 16. It was like my high school side job. I was a hostess at Outback Steakhouse. And I was there for a couple of years. And then, yeah, I got into like serving and then bartending. And then when I was in Colorado, eventually I was kind of like managing our bar side, more kind of on like learning the craft cocktail scene. So yeah, kind of like a little jack of all trades, I guess you could say.
It is. And our friend Emily, I told her, because she's kind of that same.
Yeah.
You're my Swiss Army knife friends. Like,
yeah.
You can literally do it all. Like you can cut, you can screw, you can.
Yes. Yes, you can. I'm just kidding. I'm like, what is this rated? What is this podcast rated?
It's rated whatever we want it to be.
How appropriate do we need to be?
And I also saw on your social media yesterday, your first day, skiing this year.
Yeah.
Powder day on your first
Dude.
day.
There's like 2 feet of snow up there and like literally nobody on the mountain. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So it was actually I was just talking with Lindsay. I was like, I'm probably going to go ski again tomorrow because I don't have a ton to do. And it's like dumping snow.
That's what I was saying. Tomorrow morning will probably be so good. It'll stop snowing.
Yeah.
So like see things too.
Yeah. So I love the winter. Woo.
So real estate, you are working for who and who's your real estate team? I hate to say it because I have a lot of real estate friends, but crew could be my favorite crew. And for many reasons, it is because you guys have taken the social media game to a level that I think no one's doing. Everyone's stuffy. You guys are not. I'm like, I just want to sit in your office with you guys.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love that. Thank you for saying that. So I work for EXP. So EXP is like an umbrella brokerage essentially that allows you to branch out onto like your own working teams without having to be a broker, right? So rather than like your big box, like Century 21, Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, where it's like a ton of agents, you have like a designated broker. EXP is kind of like just gives you a little bit more freedom to have the responsibility and have the freedom to kind of start your own brand and your own team without the responsibility of being a broker. It's like kind of takes the liability out for you. We have a designated broker for all of Idaho, and then like a North Idaho kind of broker here locally as well. So we are with the Living CDA team, which is Connor Hammond's team at the moment. But Lindsay and I are kind of branching out on our own starting in 2023. So I was like, if you want to do round 2 with both of us, we can talk a little bit more about that.
I know she's got a lot of life stuff.
I know.
I figured after her life calms down, we should do something because she's just as,
oh my gosh, she's like, I can't even start to talk about how much I admire Lindsay. It's like insane.
Girl crush for sure.
Yes, literally. So yeah, Lindsay brought me on kind of beginning of or end of the year last year. And so this has kind of been a process for me, like learning this new industry that I think is kind of a good fit for me just in like the personality wise. Like I enjoy like networking and talking to people. And, you know, I was kind of in like what do I want to do with my life? I just kind of enjoy like helping people and like solving puzzles and just making sure that everyone gets like the outcome that they are looking for in like different situations, if that makes sense. And I feel like that just really embodies like basically what real estate is. It's using the knowledge that you have to, you know, facilitate a transaction that is like very unique to each client essentially. So I think it was a really good fit. And she kind of like found me in our social friend group, right? We were just kind of like over cocktails talking about life goals. And she had kind of had this image of this brand that she wanted to do in her mind, but obviously very busy, and was kind of like, I just like need like a right hand woman. And I was like, pick me. I will do that for you. Yeah. I'm like, me, please. You're so smart. Teach me your ways. So yeah, it just really worked out. And we, I know that wasn't the question you asked, but we'll circle back to that.
This is great. No, you're answering questions now. I don't have
that one. Oh, I love it. But yeah, so we're with Connor, and when Lindsay kind of came on board with Living CDA, that was like the end goal kind of from the start, was for her to kind of learn how these teams work, and that she could eventually start, you know, building her own brand. And then I was kind of brought in along with her. So really excited to see like what the next year holds for us. Keep your inboxes open for our little, you know, launch party that we're planning. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that the culture was one of the biggest things that kind of drew her here and like brought me along as well. Cause Connor, like this office is awesome. It's pretty young agents that are like really smart and really like determined to like learn as much as they can. They already have a ton of knowledge. The culture is really cool. Everyone's very helpful. It's not like a kind of competitive, like don't talk to anybody that I even know. I just feel like, you know, sometimes real estate has a little bit of a reputation of being very like cutthroat and very much like every man for themselves kind of an industry. And I've just have found with this team, it was the opposite of that. It was everyone's been very welcoming and very helpful. And we just have a lot of fun. And I think that that transfers really well to what we're putting out on social media. We're just trying to have fun. And especially while this market is like kind of at a weird, slower pace with everything that's going on, it's like, we're really just kind of trying to double down on our marketing and our personality. That's like, because people are going to always buy and sell houses. It's not like something that's going to stop. So, you know, when everyone gets kind of back into the market, we want to be the people that they want to work with because we're fun. This shouldn't be like a scary, like, you know, intimidating process. Like that's my thing. It's like, I want you to have fun with this. This is the biggest purchase or sale of your life. And I want to make that like enjoyable for you. This shouldn't be like stressful, you know, obviously there's some stress that comes with it, but it shouldn't be like this tumultuous, like, oh gosh, was the worst. Like, you know, let's have fun with it. Let's play around.
Well, and I think I like I was going to say, I kind of it's a good segue into, I think that's why I'm drawn to your guys' social media.
Yeah.
And I mean, most real estate agents that I follow and that are my friends and I love them or people I know, it just looks the same. Every post is the same statistics or the same.
Absolutely.
And just a description. I'm like, I don't want that. So something you guys have started, please tell us a little bit. It's not below the jacket. It's under the jacket.
No, it's beneath. beneath the blazer.
Blazer. See, I fucked it up too.
That's okay. No, and honestly, it's so funny because I kind of started, I'm again newer to the industry. So I'm still trying to like, build up my clientele and like my own personal business. So Connor I kind of approached Connor. He was looking for somebody to take over the social media. I do a lot of social media for like my cycle bar, my Pure Barre stuff anyways, because it's a very like self-promotion kind of industry over there as well. So I kind of, approached him. I was like, before you hire somebody to do this like full time in the interim, like, why don't you just like let me kind of take over it? It'll save you a lot of money, honestly, because I can guarantee you that, a professional social marketing person is going to charge you a lot more. So I'm like, let me kind of take this over and like see what happens. So we obviously had been collaborating a little bit about some like just some fun things to do, with our in-house videographer. And I was like, what if we did like a cool little interview, to kind of like get to know our agents a little bit better, but I was like, but it has to be fun because otherwise it's just the same thing, right? That's what's like my biggest thing. I was like, I just want this to be different. Yeah. It's like, I don't want to just stop.
A great way to put it is that is why you guys are doing so well, is because if I saw one of your agents or you or whoever it was, someone to work with, and I'm like, oh, they love that too, or you're like, that personality is something I'd want to work with. I think it really is capturing that side that no one else is really doing as well.
Totally. And like, I think this business, especially like real estate, is so like intimate. You know what I mean? It's like you get into people's finances, you work with them very closely for, however long, may it be weeks, months, or maybe even years. Like it's a very much more like intimate sales world than just like, hey, do you want to buy this product? Cool. Thank you. Goodbye. So I think it's really important to like find somebody that you like click with and that you enjoy like spending time with. Right. And I 100% know that I am not everybody's cup of tea. I have very high energy, and sometimes it's a little off-putting to people, and that's okay. Like I'm not like for everybody, but I was like, this is really cool because everyone in our office is so different that if I'm not someone's cup of tea, maybe Chris or maybe Justin is, or like maybe Lexi is that person for you. Like I just really wanted to kind of like highlight everyone's personalities and not just talk about what is the market doing today? Because if we talk about interest rates one more time, I'm going to throw myself off the balcony. Like I'm not doing it it's like, I'm over it. So like, and you can get that information from however many like social media accounts that you follow, right? You can find market updates, you can find statistics, you can find what is going on in my neighborhood. We get it. I can repost those on my story all day long. That's not going to drive people to want to engage with me. Correct. So coming from that standpoint, I'm like, let's just like be fun. And we're going to do like 3 kind of serious questions. And then we're doing rapid fire, and we're going to answer like stupid questions about like your likes and your dislikes and like your personality and your TV shows and funny things about your family. Because at the end of the day, it's like that age old quote, like people do business with people that they know and they like and they trust. And if you don't like me, that's my fault. So whatever. But we've been having a lot of fun with it. And I was honestly kind of surprised the amount of like positive feedback that we've gotten in the past couple of weeks. Like I think we're on our 6th week now doing it.
Yeah.
And like I'll go out and see people in the industry and like, oh, we can't wait for Thursday. We can't wait to see your next episode. And I'm like, what is happening?
I know, like just like you guys did a little teaser earlier on. We're gonna drop it, and it's not very long. It's so fun. And then you get interviewed this week. Yeah,
it's me.
I was like, I don't get to see anymore now. I want to see it.
I know. So we do like a little teaser on Tuesdays. It's typically like 20 to 30 seconds of like a little clip from the episode. And then, we do like the full one on Thursdays, and they're not long. They're 90 seconds because of Instagram's like real time. So it's not like you have to like sit at YouTube for 25 minutes and listen to us talk about how much we love our kids, right? It's like, it's meant to be like quick while you're scrolling, just take an extra 60 seconds to like hang out with us, right? We wanted to make it like accessible. We didn't want it to be like overbearing and like long-winded, right? It's, if you want like a long-winded explanation, we all have YouTube channels. You can go there. You know what I mean? Yep. So this was, I'm really like proud. I think like, it's just really fun that like the response has been so positive and people are like looking forward and they know when it comes out, which I think is like really cool. I had like no idea that anyone would even really care about like if we like NSYNC or Backstreet Boys more, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's been really fun.
I guess that would be a great segue into my question. Like, who cares about all of this other stuff we're talking about? We need to know what your Spotify is by the
Spotify Rap Day, one of my favorite days of the whole year.
I know. I've been waiting.
I love it so much.
What's Sammy's top music this last year?
Oh, I was like, I on my Instagram. Let me find it. My top artist was Halsey, which I figured it would be.
I think, was it Casey's as well? Casey's at
yeah. Casey and I were like the top 0.5% of her listeners. I'm like, girl crush, hey.
Yeah.
Yes. What else do I have on here? I was like all pop, which I knew because again, like, you know, when your job is to teach spin, essentially is what Cycle Bar is. For those of you who don't know, Cycle Bar, shout out. It's on Apple Way. It's very fun.
So fun. Come with me.
But yes, I was gonna say Tabitha's one of our girls. She gets the homie hookup. So come with her, come with me, DM, all the things, come to class. But we as instructors have the liberty we get to make our own playlist for every single class. We aren't able to repeat playlists, like be a corporate, they say no. So every single class is different. If you're taking my classes weekly, you're never going to hear the same playlist. Same goes with all the other instructors. So I love that so much. And I think that that's why I get so excited about my Spotify, is because I'm like, what did I do this year? You know, I'm on it.
Yeah,
I had 56,000 minutes listened on my Spotify this year.
That makes a lot of sense.
Which is a lot. Yes. So it's like, people are like, holy shit, like, do you have a life? And I'm like, yeah, but one of my jobs is to literally like find music. And that's like a big thing too in our industry, like in the fitness industry, that it's like, if your music is bad, people don't come to your class. Like, that's really what it is. I could be a terrible instructor with excellent music and people would come to my class and they would just like drown me out. They'd be like, we're not listening to you, but your music is really good. And vice versa. I could be literally the best instructor in town, but if I have bad taste in music, I could say the most inspirational things to you, but it doesn't matter because I'm playing Nickelback and everyone's like, get me out of here.
If I saw me out Nickelback, you know,
concert ride,
I'd be like, I'll see you next time.
Don't sign me up for that. Absolutely not. But yeah, so Spotify Wrapped, I was a little surprised, I'll be completely honest. I think what happens with my Spotify a lot is that it curates like suggested playlists, right? And since I do listen to kind of a lot of the same genres, like for example, my top song is the Lotto Big Energy, which I love. Don't get me wrong, I love that song. But it's like not my favorite song. I didn't like go and find it on repeat all the time. But what happens is the playlist that they like curate for me, that song is always on it, right? Yeah. And so when I just like let my Spotify playlist like play and I don't pick it, it's like kind of all these same songs that just like repeat. And so everyone's like, Big Energy, I could have guessed it. I'm like, it's not my favorite song. Like, I guess. And like Beyonce is my number 3 artist, which like, don't get me wrong, I love Beyonce, but she's not my top 3.
But she's again, on playlists for cycles.
Yes, too. And exactly, she's on a lot of. She makes an appearance on my classes a lot. I did a Beyonce versus Jay-Z ride, which was very fun. So I did that, which I had to obviously listen to a lot of her music for like a week, right? And just like I kind of joke about all these Swifties that like had to like just constantly play Taylor Swift for like a month to get her pre-sale tickets. Marissa Berry.
That's what I was gonna say. Our good friend Marissa.
Yes, she like literally just had it playing on her Spotify in the background for like, not even kidding, day and night, like so that she could get tickets. She's dedicated. I'll give her that.
That is hardcore.
Yes, but my point is that like when I make these playlists, it's like I listen to these artists like for a lot of hours in like a short period of time. So I think it's like, oh my God, you listen to so many minutes of Beyonce. You must be like a huge fan. I'm like, no, I just did a theme ride of her. So I had to listen to it a lot. So I always have a fun time with mine. I'm like, what else? Top artist, Halsey. My number 3 top podcast was Pass the Real Estate Exam.
And
with Prep Agent. And I did. Hello. Sometimes you have to use Spotify for a little learning. I thought that was funny. I was like, yeah, I was listening to that like every minute for like a month.
So
Yeah.
that's a great segue into my next question. And I can't ask a lot of people this question, a lot of real
Yeah.
estate.
Oh, I'm excited.
They'll get a little offended if I ask them, is we have 5,000 million real estate agents in this community.
Yeah.
Right?
So many.
Someone's like, I'm becoming a real estate. I'm like,
Yeah.
cool, you and
You're
everybody
like,
else.
cool. Literally.
And you're that type of person, kind of like me. Like, what made you go, I can do this, and I know I can do it better than most everybody? Obviously, it's not
Yeah.
competition, but it kind of is. Like,
Right.
you go, I can do this, and I am not stressed that I'm competing against other real estate agents.
I feel like that is such a good question because I will be completely honest. Like, this is something that I had on my radar for like years, right? It's kind of a joke that like there's like a hierarchy of service industry. It's like hostess, server, bartender, bar manager. Then you go back to a bartender because you don't make as much money when you're a manager. And then you go, the top tier is like real estate. It's like a joke, right? It's like once you're done in the service industry and you're trying to be a grown up, you get your real estate license because it kind of makes sense. Like I was trained for, you know, over a decade how to deal with people's emotions and how to put a smile on my face when people are being verbally abusive to me, to be completely honest. It's time management, it's organization, it's kind of making your own schedule, which I think when you put them next to each other, there's a lot of crossover between like being a good, and I specify because it's like not everyone is good at being a server. It's honestly a very difficult job. And I always have so much respect for anybody in the service industry. It's very challenging. And until you do it, you really don't understand. Right. But there's a lot of crossover between being like a successful person in the service industry, whether that's, you know, bartending, serving, even being like a server assistant, like busser situation. A lot of crossover in those skills into your real estate world. It's kind of just learning like you have like the social and like the personality skills to be in real estate. It's just kind of now you just have to learn like your math almost, right? It's like I kind of joked, like I'm just learning like another language, you know? I can talk to people, I can market myself. Now I have to learn what a 1031 exchange is. I'm like, what are you talking about? But I, you know, kind of back to your question, I thought about it for a long time, but then it was COVID happened and our market kind of like exploded. And everyone and their mom and their dog got their real estate license, right? And I suffer a little bit from imposter syndrome and kind of like holding myself back on things where I know I could be very successful, but I think about, you know, how others might like perceive what I'm doing. And you know, we're all working on it, but that's kind of a big one for me, is just being like confident in who I am and what I provide. And so I was just like, well, no, I'm not going to like get my license in 2020 like everyone else. It's like a big joke. Everyone's going to make fun of me and not take me seriously. Like these, you know, seasoned agents that have been doing this for, you know, 20 years are going to be like, oh, here, another one. Right. And so I didn't. I was like, no, I'm just going to like, and then that's kind of when I like dove head first into like my fitness side of my career, which again, now in like 20, you know, hindsight vision, I'm happy that I did that because I love this part of my life and I have made excellent connections and it's actually very good for my business now. But I kind of dove just really into Cycle Bar and Pure Bar and like perfecting that and being the best at that I could be. And then it kind of all just fell back in place when, you know, Lindsay and I got together and she was like, this is what I want to do. And I think that you would be like the perfect person to help me and support me and be, you know, like a partner with me. And it just kind of like the stars aligned, I guess you could say. And I was finally just like, fuck it. Like, who cares if people talk behind my back and say, of course, Sammy's going to try to do real estate because everyone else is, and she used to be a bartender. Makes sense. But at the same time, it's like, I don't care anymore. Right. It's like, I have to figure out what I want to do and what's going to make me happy and what I'm able to kind of build for myself to live the lifestyle that I want to live and be, you know, financially independent and not have to worry about like all the side hustle jobs that I do, which is, again, you know, I joke around like, how many jobs can I have? Because that's my personality. I'm busy. I like to stay busy. I like to stay working. But, you know, I kind of am to the point where I'm, you know, I turned 30 this year and I was like, I want to feel secure. I want to feel proud of what I'm working towards. I don't want to just keep doing all of these like kind of side gig jobs. Like I want to be like, I'm working towards this career. I'm proud of what I'm building. I'm proud of who I partnered up with. You know, we align so much on like our morals and our values and like our just everything. It just kind of fell so perfectly. And, you know, that was a big thing. I think Lindsay was like a huge part of me just kind of finally like biting the bullet and doing it, because without, you know, I don't want this to come across in like a negative way, but I think that, you know, real estate kind of gets a bad rap of people, you know, kind of like that used car salesman kind of person where it's like, oh, I don't care about what's best for, you know, my clients or what's best for my community. I just want to make as much money in the slowest or the shortest amount of time that I can. Right. And I don't really care about anything else. And well, I didn't.
That's why I like your social media too. I mean,
yeah,
like I get, I don't know how many emails I got on Happy Thanksgiving. Don't forget me when you're wanting to sell real estate or
exactly.
You know, I was like, oh, here's another one.
Yeah.
Like I like enjoy how you're kind of doing that. So
yeah, we're just kind of trying to take a different approach of like, yes, obviously the end goal is to get your business, right? Like we're not just pretending that we don't care about getting business. Like at the end of the day, this is a job, right?
Everything's changing. People are on social media. They're not
exactly.
Your email is already forwarded to their junk. They've already got that programmed in.
They're not opening those emails. But if I can get in front of you, you know, on your Instagram or on your TikTok or on your Facebook, and you're like, this is kind of funny. What are these guys doing? Right?
Yeah, like, who is this girl? Yeah. She's hilarious. Or someone you're interviewing, like being awkward, and like Connor, he was like,
yeah, so good.
So serious.
Yeah. But, you know, again, just like, I think Lindsay was like a big push for me because I really just, we are just so aligned again on like how we view the world and how we want to take care of our clients. And that this is more than just like a monetary transaction. It's really like trying to make our community a better place and, you know, trying to figure out how we can help our clients like to the best of our knowledge. And it's more of like an advisory role than it is like just doing paperwork, right? It's like, if this isn't right for you, then we're going to wait and we're going to find something until it is. And I think that was like kind of like my biggest halt was that I was nervous to kind of like just get licensed and interview different brokerages, right? Like I kind of had a very different path into this industry than most 99% of agents do. Like I went into my pre-licensing course knowing where my job was going to be at the end, right? And that's like very rare. You know, people go around and they like interview different brokerages and they are kind of like, what can you do for me? This is what I can provide for you. And I was just kind of very lucky that I didn't have to deal with that. And I am on this like very knowledgeable team with literally the best mentor I could ever even wish or like hope for.
Yeah, she's a smart lady. She knew exactly what
she's so smart. And it's like I kind of have to take a step back sometimes and, you know, push away that like voice that's like, what are you doing? Because it's like if Lindsay saw something in me that was like, I want you to work with me, then like I think that is honestly like a huge compliment and something that I really kind of need to remember, that I'm not just like here by accident. And I feel, you know, like she's mentoring me and like grooming me into just be the best little baby agent that I can be and like send me off into the world. And I'm really excited. I think we have a lot of really cool stuff coming up this year and in the future. And I'm just excited to see what happens.
Hey.
Yeah.
I have a couple quick questions. I don't do rapid fire, but I do
have
okay. Fun questions because rapid fire can be, and then I would be like, oh man, actually
I'm like sweating.
So what is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I hate when people have like no like self-awareness and are just like I like Costco. Like when I go to Costco, it's like people are just like ramming their carts into things and like it just drives me crazy. It's like lack of self-awareness and like no
this week about leaving their carts on Thanksgiving.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm like, you guys, it's like lack of self-awareness and then like a lack of urgency. It's like kind of like those two things. I'm like, God, let's go.
I can't imagine a slow person in front of you. I bet that would drive you crazy.
Dude, it's bad. I'm like, I thought I was so kind and patient until I'm like behind a slow walker and I'm like, get out of here. please.
I don't know if you can tell, but Sammy is like high energy and she's like, let's get stuff done.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I meet people and they're like, are you from New York? And I'm like, no, I was born in Idaho. I grew up here. I'm spicy and I go fast and I don't know what else to say.
But you're Italian, right?
Yeah. Yeah. My dad's Sicilian. Yeah. We're like Sicilian, but
yeah,
I guess, yeah, it's in my blood, but I'm not from New York.
So what is one piece of what's something you would tell a younger you, maybe a piece of advice or something to prepare them for?
Oh my gosh. That's such a hard question because I honestly feel like I've come like very full circle on like just like my confidence in like my abilities. I've always kind of just like doubted myself and like not tried it. Like even back when I was dancing, like not gonna audition for things because I'm like, I'm good, but I'm not that good. And like, who am I to think that I could like achieve that? Right. And I think that, you know, as I get older, as we all do, you kind of just like settle into a place of like accepting who you are and what you bring to the table essentially. And I just kind of wish I could tell her just relax and be confident with who you are. And you're going to have a really fun, awesome, successful life. Cause I feel like that's the boat that we're in right now. So,
yeah, and I think that's such a good piece of advice to tell any young woman is like, that's kind of my next question is what kind of a piece of advice would you give to a younger female or even someone in their 30s or 40s?
Yeah.
Piece of advice you would give a businesswoman trying to kind of like you are kind of going into the real estate game, kind of like, here I am, I'm going to be successful. Give a piece of advice for someone, you know, whether it's real estate or whatever.
Yeah, I think that just kind of to piggyback on like the confidence, it's like just like be loud and be yourself. And you know, we can't. I mean, you and I on our own personal friendship know that it's like I am like, let's go, ladies. We're not going to let these men tell us that we can't do something, you know, important. It's like don't let that kind of like gray cloud of, you know, the old successful man tell you that you can't be right up there with them. Right. And I think that as women, it's kind of difficult because we have to work harder. And I don't say that because it's like, woe is me. I'm a girl. Like, it's just the facts. Like we have to work harder to be taken seriously. We have to work harder to be listened to in like a room full of men. And I just think that it's important to remember that you are smart and you drive value and you have to like just kind of show up knowing that and not letting people kind of like steer you away from like pursuing stuff that you want to do because that's what they've done in the past, right? We have to kind of like start changing that narrative and like changing that, you know, that route. I think especially in the corporate world, I've never been in the corporate world. I can't really speak with experience from that, but I see it from a lot of my girlfriends that are like literally plowing through to the top. It's like because they're smart and they know they're smart and they're not letting people tell them that they can't do it. And I think that that's just like girl power. Let's go.
I like that, taking up the space.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so true. And especially here where we live, I love it here, but there is you don't get taken seriously in
right.
Whether you have the experience or not, like sometimes,
and whether it's any industry, it could be anything. So, I remember vividly when I was like, and I worked at Dockside for like 6 years. I remember vividly, I was working in a section next to one of our male servers, and he was the worst server I've ever met in my whole career. Like just terrible, not good at his job, really super forgetful, but he was handsome and he was charming. And I ran my ass off around that whole, I could run circles around this guy. Like it was insane. And I just remember like listening to him talk to his tables and like the mistakes that he would make and just like completely bringing people the wrong things. And it's like, and it's his fault. It's no one else's fault but his, right? And I just remember being like, are you fucking kidding me? And still listening to his guests be like, thank you so much. You were amazing. What was your name again? We can't wait to see you next time we're in. And it's like, in the meantime, I like forget a side of ranch dressing and you'd think that the building was burning down. Right. I'm like, okay, it's like any industry. And I don't mean to say that as like, and I'm not a man hater. I'm like, we love our good men. Like I don't want to get it twisted. Right. I'm not like
say that in Cycle Bar. If you ever go to pickle bars, and she is on one of those rants, which are one of my favorite classes when she's
Oh,
like
thank you.
women's power. But then she also gives a shout out to the good men's that also embrace and empower the women around them.
Absolutely. And I feel like I'm very fortunate to have like good men in my life that, you know, support me. Like my boyfriend's amazing. But it's like, again, I don't want this to be misconstrued as like, oh, you just hate men. But it's frustrating when you're good at your job, and when it like you make a minor, you know, there's a minor inconvenience and you make a small mistake, and it's like there's no coming back from it. And it's like, oh, well, you're just a little girl. What do you know? And I'm like, homeboy over here doesn't know anything. What is going on? Like, am I in the Twilight Zone?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. I'm like, God. And I just, you know, we live in a pretty conservative little part of the country, and it's difficult being in like a minority essentially of like loud opinionated women. Like it's hard, and you know, you're in the group, girlfriend, like it's difficult. But you know, I think that at the end of the day, if we just kind of like stay true to that, and like the energy that you put out, I really do believe that you would track that energy. And
100%.
I'm so fortunate to have found like this, you know, this group of girlfriends that I have present day that are like so like-minded and so encouraging and just like supportive of each other. And like, you know, we all just really want everybody to be successful. And I think that if we are all just like loud and we take up as much space as we can, and we don't let people tell us no, you know, to an extent, obviously we follow rules, but you know, then we'll find everyone else in this town like that. And I think that there's more of us than we think. And I try to remind myself of that when I get, you know, kind of in that spiral of the world is ending and why am I so sad all the time? I try to remind myself that there are more of us out here that, you know, believe that and really are trying to encourage everybody to be positive and to be, you know, caring is really all that it comes down to. So I'm sorry, I feel like that was a long tangent.
No, I mean, I helped bring that up. So like last question, well, it's actually last thing is, give you a chance just to self-promote. Tell us how people can contact you if they want to work with you guys or want to know more.
Yeah.
And also, I think you have a cycle bar class on Wednesday nights. Today's a Wednesday.
I do. Yeah. So you can kind of find me a little bit all over the place. You know, my personal Instagram is like just my name, like Sammy.Randazzo on Instagram. My business Instagram is Sammy Sells Idaho. Hey, what's up? And then what else? You can follow me on Spotify. I've got really good music.
I can follow you on Spotify.
Yes, you can follow me on Spotify. We post all of our playlists up to a link for classes, which is kind of fun. So if you ever do take class and you're like, that was a really cool song, where is that? You can go in your app, in your Cycle Bar app, and you can find the playlist, just as a side note. But yeah, Cycle Bar CDA, I'm there right now, Monday mornings for a bit, 9:30 a.m. And then Wednesday nights, 5:30 p.m. And then Saturday mornings, 9:45. And then I teach a handful of classes over at Pure Bar as well. Consistently, I'm over there Friday mornings, 8:30, 9:30. And then I think starting in January, I'll be doing just like a noon Wednesday, kind of like midday, a little intensive.
Pure Bar is not for everybody.
Pure Bar.
Jamie, I've tried. Sammy, I've tried. And
I know.
Marissa said something when it's the Taylor Swift song about the baby one, when you feel like you're, what is it?
It's like sometimes I feel like everyone's a sexy baby or something like that.
And you're like this, like,
and it's like, and I'm a monster on the hill.
That's how I feel in Pure Bar. I'm like, because I'm muscular, and all these girls are beautiful and lean, and they look like ballerinas, and I was like,
yeah, Pure Bar is not for the faint of heart. It's definitely a different kind of strength training. It's super hard. It's like a different kind of strength training where it's like we use like isometric movements essentially, and like small muscle groups where you just basically, this is my quick Pure Bar spiel, you focus on a muscle group until the point of exhaustion, and then you physically start to feel your body shake because you're like, I have been doing thigh work now for 7 minutes straight and I can't do this anymore. And it's very difficult. And I love Pure Bar so much. Like when I was doing it consistently, I was like, whoa, are those abs? Like, that's kind of cool. But it's very hard. It's like love-hate relationship for me. Sometimes I'm like, the whole time I'm like, is this plank series over? This is so hard. Yeah. So Pure Bar, Cycle Bar, my real estate Instagram. Yeah. Again, Sammy Sells Idaho. My contact information business wise is on that. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm also all over the place. I'm a social butterfly, you guys. You'll see me out and about. So say
Thanks for
hi.
listening to Keeping Tabs. I'm Tabitha Crock, and every Monday I release a podcast about different community members here in North Idaho. And then we end the weeks on Fridays with a podcast about the things I'm passionate about: outdoors, adventures, sports, the van life, and even current events. So if you like what you heard, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube, Spotify, or iTunes. Thank you again. Now go be kind and do something great.